quick. People are getting it in ways that's not tangible the way it was when we all look forward to buying an album or putting vinyl on our turntable and listening to, both sides. It's like now it's coming to people in so many different angles that I think it just makes the importance of the live concert that much more of, of the pinnacle of what the entertainment, experience is really about. And then now you have the ability, like for me, it was always when you went to Grateful Dead shows as a kid, you wanted to get the live tape of the show that you were at. Of course, you could get it years later, you found someone that had it. Now with the digital music era, it's made access to the live recording so much more easy to get a hold of. So I think that that's another sort of area of live music. And you see that in the jam band community and on sites like nugs.net, and then even hitting radio like satellite radio, which plays a lot of live music now. So again, I mean, those are ancillary areas where live touring, I think, really plays a big part. And word of mouth, again, in the arena of touring, it's where you really hit the fans first and foremost, where the word of mouth takes place. I think in this age, again, where record sales are down, there's a lot of file sharing, and word of mouth is what's really helping us, our band, succeed, is that fans and people are easily able to exchange information online very quickly in real time and tell people about their experience and tell people about the groups that are affecting them and moving them. That's really, I think, again, what we aim to do is, it's creating a culture, creating a subculture and a scene that people feel they can be a part of, and them telling other people about that is what's creating that communal element at the shows. And I think, again, that's something that is probably the most important part of, of advertising at this point is word of mouth. You can affect a lot of people now real quickly. You can target ads on Facebook to a specific demographic, and beyond that, those are the people that are going to carry the flag and the torch for what you're doing creatively, and those are the people that are going to eventually buy a ticket to your concert. Touring revenue, I think, is something that, again, because this is a panel about is touring still worth it, when it comes down to it, this is a music business, there's an economic model behind things, and touring revenue, I think, is a big, big part of the pie. In 2009, Polestar compiled its list of top 50 tours in North America. U2 surpassed all other tours by a wide margin, grossing $123 million in North America, selling over 1.3 million tickets. Its closest competitor was Bruce Springsteen, which was about 30 million behind in gross revenue. And for all the financial troubles of 2009, the concert business had an up year. And the numbers across the board for the top 50 tours on Polestar were better than the previous year. So when it comes to live music, I think 2009, which is the last full year of concerts we could trace back, is definitely worth it to be in that business. Number one tours consistently coming in higher than in the year before, and the number 25 tour and the 50th tour were higher as well. So concert business, although just like everything else goes through its peaks and valleys, was healthy in 2009 and 2010. There's a recent report from Billboard showing the concert business being up worldwide with a total revenue of $4.4 billion, nearly 12% over the 2008 totals and 13% from 2009. Going into the summer of 2010, I think the barometer is still out about where the concert business and live touring business will be this year. But in the beginning of quarter one, which is traditionally a lighter area of touring, lighter period on the calendar, was off to a solid start. The top 100 tours worldwide had sold more than 10.9 million tickets compared to 10.1 for the same period in 2008. They said total concert grosses from Polestar for quarter one exceeded $1 billion for the first time, marking a substantial jump from the previous year's $941.6 million. So there's no debating that live concerts and live touring is a huge part of the economy of the music business, and again, remains a vital part of, to me, any artist's career. So I think going into 2010 in the summer, honestly, the words that I'm hearing is that touring is down a little bit, and I think that people panic the music industry about stuff like that, but it's also comes down to, again, something I brought up earlier was with the consolidation of the concert business and huge ticketing fees and things like that. I think you have, big corporations that are controlling the lion's share of the concert business, and those corporations often have other ancillary revenue and properties that they have to concentrate on, and sometimes that cannibalizes the bottom line of the touring business, being Live Nation has huge amphitheaters that they have to fill because they own the amphitheaters, they own the parking, they own all the ancillary revenue, the concessions and whatnot. So I think sometimes those people shoot really too high on things, and therefore you see towards this summer, like, you're hearing about a lot of cancellations, Limp Bizkit, Christina Aguilera. I mean, these are unrealistic expectations in the first place by, to me, out-of-touch executives that have different agendas, because there's no way in 2010 that a band like Limp Bizkit's going to be relevant enough to fill amphitheaters or whatnot. That being the case, I think that still, again, it's a healthy industry, and as an artist, it's something that would be my focus, depending on, if you're willing to go out and get dirty and get on the road and live your life, travel, because that's a really hard, rigorous part that a lot of people don't take into consideration, is that it's not really all glamour out there. To be, even if you're on a tour bus and living, in sort of top-line hotels, it's still a lot of moving around, and, you're playing your music 3 hours out of the day, and the rest of the time is like, it's rigorous travel, it's really tiring, and you can struggle for a really long time trying to do it. But in the case, like I said, some of our artists, like the Stupid, Pepper, guys that have worked for over a decade, they've built a career, and they've come up from living on the floors of people's dorms and vans and whatnot to riding nice tour coaches and making a living out of doing that. So touring revenue, definitely the bread and butter. And then, like I said, jam bands, festival circuit, there's been a whole business that's come out of what I think the Grateful Dead really started, but it's been, garnered onto bands like Fish and Dave Matthews and Widespread Panic that set the sort of standard of bar right now for live touring. And these are groups that are, they're playing to minimum 10,000 people a night consistently throughout the year, 100 shows a year, and we're talking about some serious dough. I think one of the really important things about live touring, and something that, I take from those bands, I take from the early example of the Dead and whatnot, and it's been really integral for our success, is packaging. Tour packaging is something that, we always look to try to do something that's aesthetically different, has a common theme, but offers fans and people, I think, a scenario where it's an event more than just, you're going to see a band per se. So packaging is integral to, I think, the success of our tours, and we've demonstrated that over the last 5 or 6 years doing packaging with artists where 1 + 1 hopefully equals 3 in attendance. And I think last year, as far as our company, was the biggest tour. We put together Slightly Stupid with Snoop Dogg and Stephen Marley and Mickey Avalon, and we were able to jump up to concert arenas that are the size of Verizon and Cricket amphitheaters of 15 to 18,000 people coming out to the shows. And Snoop Dogg on his own could only sell probably 1,000 to 2,000 tickets in a lot of places. Slightly Stupid on their own, 3,000 to 5,000, maybe 7,000. Mickey Avalon and Stephen Marley, not worth a lot, but we put all those together and branded as an event, and the attendance is 1 + 1 = 3. And I think that for a young band, if you're starting out, or as a consumer, to me, when you get to see a package of great bands that come together, it goes back to sort of the philosophy of the old Fillmore days, where they put together a Miles Davis with a Steve Miller or a Grateful Dead. You took elements of jazz and elements of blues, and you mixed it with a different sort of subculture, and you expose people to great music, and you also create great value for consumers and music fans. And